Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
Hey, this is Tim Seeley, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Nightwing News. Early edition. All right, I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And this time we'll be covering new Teen Titans 4, 5, and 6. From way back. Magical time called the 80s kids.
Were you born when these came out, Phil, or not yet?
No, I was. Yeah, no, I was born in 78. So yeah, I was.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't reading them when they were brand new, but yes, I was.
Yeah, you would have been. Yeah.
I was almost 3.
I was not born yet.
Oh, look at me. I'm all young and fancy. Now I'm just trying to open the issues on the app. Sometimes your app likes to act up, DC Infinite.
Yeah, I read them earlier on the app, but now I busted out my...
Ooh.
Now I busted out this because I was reading it on the app on my phone, and I was reminded there's a lot more words in New Teen Titans, and it's much harder to read on my phone than modern comics because there's so many more words, so they're smaller, and I'm like...
Yeah, back in the day, we got lots more words. Yeah. I think that that's they wanted to do that anyway, but again, remember we were competing with the X-Men around this time, and again, Chris Claremont loved to do lots of words. Sometimes the words almost push the art out of the way.
I think though that is just.
I think it's the style of the time too.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I do think the New Teen Titans have more words. Well, I mean, part of it is because the New Teen Titans has a lot more characters.
Yeah.
So when it's a team book, more people have to talk. So there's more words than in Batman, for instance. But you read old Batman, there's a lot more words than now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have definitely...
At a certain point, they were just like, we can't be covering up this art. It looks too pretty. All right. All right. Do you want me to do some synopses for these? Oh. All right. New Teen Titans number 4 from February 1981, Against All Friends. Writer Marv Wolfman, penciler George Perez, of course, inker Romeo Tangle, colorist Adrian Roy, letterer Ben Oda, and editor Len Wein. At the behest of Zatanna, the Justice League of America fight up against a group of 3 sorcerers. Raven appears in the middle of the conflict and tries to convince them to let the sorcerers continue, but the League doesn't listen. Unable to stop them, Raven returns to Azarath. She approaches her mother Aurelia and the priests of Azarath, seeking their aid against the coming of Trigon, but they refuse to help her. Rejected, Raven returns to Titan's Tower. The Titans, meanwhile, are getting frustrated with Raven's arbitrary comings and goings. Raven tells them about the demon Trigon the Terrible, as well as her conflict with the Justice League. She convinces them that in order to stop the coming of Trigon, that they must stop the Justice League from fighting the sorcerers. The Titans travel to the Justice League satellite. The League invites them in, but as soon as they do so, the Titans attack them. The Titans perform extremely well against the more experienced adults, but it quickly becomes apparent that another force is guiding the Titans' actions. In the midst of battle, Raven casts an illusion, giving the appearance that the Titans have killed the Justice League. She then brings the Titans to the three sorcerers and shows them that they are casting a spell in an effort to bar Trigon's access to the Earth dimension. Without warning, the Justice League appears right behind them and the fight resumes. Suddenly, the sky begins to crackle with energy, and the force of Trigon's power incapacitates both the new Teen Titans and the Justice League. When they finally revive, they all realize that they have been duped. Zatanna was suspicious of Raven because she sensed the evil of Trigon within her. She now realizes that Raven has been using her empathic powers to manipulate the Titans into helping her. It was Raven's influence that drove Kid Flash to defend her action so passionately. Now that everyone is aware of what she's been doing, no one trusts her any longer. All right, thoughts?
That was a very thorough synopsis.
I know.
I would just say the only thing it left out, though, was that the Titans were being controlled by, what is it, Simon?
Oh, Simon, yeah. With a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that ties in with the one before.
Yeah. No, he showed up in the Green Lantern the one time, and me and Will were joking that his name was Simon because they spell it with a P. But yeah, I think it's Simon. I had forgotten. It's been a while since I read like early Teen Titans like this, where it's like at this point they're still like, wait, what's up with that Raven? You know, can we trust her? What's up with her?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, this is only the fourth issue. They've barely been together. The thing, because I don't read a lot of Justice League back in the day. The thing, which was not the point at all, but the thing that stuck out to me the most was Zatanna's outfit. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? The way they draw her now is way better.
Well, that's like the original look. For a while, I don't know if they tried to give her a more like superhero costume, and I think after a while, it's just like no, go back to the fishnets and top hat.
Yeah, because she doesn't even. I guess because I'm so used to the newer one, but at first I was like, "Who is that?"
Oh yeah.
Then when she started doing magic, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Zatanna!" What?
Yeah, that is a weird look. But it's so weird, like at the end when everyone's like, "Oh, we can't trust Raven," and both teams just walk away, and it's like, Trigon's still out there. So Trigon's still a threat.
Yeah, but I guess it's because it is bad to lie to your friends like that. Got to be upfront. And nobody knows what Trigon is, right? Like they've never heard of him before, so
I guess, yeah.
I guess they're like, "Who is this guy?"
I'm always just curious. I'm like, oh, I wonder why writers picked like certain members of the Justice League, because again, like it kind of rotated. Like there's no Superman in here. I was surprised they didn't have like Barry Allen because Wally was here.
Oh yeah, maybe that's why they didn't.
Maybe, but you got Batman in here, Wonder Woman's in here.
Yeah. Of course you have Batman in here because number one, the reminder that's hilarious that the Green Lantern's weakness is yellow. And Robin puts his cape on it and around it, and then he kicks him. But then we have the most hilarious Batman. All right, Robin, that's quite enough. That is such a dad moment.
Go to your room.
Stop beating up my friends. Well, wait, Batman would never admit they're his friends. So stop beating up my colleagues.
Just kick Daddy's friend in the face.
Yeah, but that's Hal, so that's not his friend.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He should be like, okay, good one about that, but maybe that's why he's like, that's quite enough. Okay, you kicked Hal, but now you gotta stop.
Exactly. But again, we were setting up like the Trigon stuff and the Raven stuff, but a lot of this, it seems like they're just like looking for an excuse to pit the Titans against the Justice League.
And at least it's good because Batman looks at Robin and he's like, oh, someone, he can tell that he's being manipulated, that someone's using them, which was good.
Yeah, because Batman's like, yeah, Robin's not as coordinated and stuff, and yeah. Oh yeah, just the because he's like, you're being used. And, no way, Batman. No one uses me anymore, including you.
Yeah, they did add a little teenage angst, if you will, to the original New Teen Titans, but not as angsty as it became.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is still new, and they're, figuring out what they want to do and add more angst. But yeah, I mean, like you said, like the whole thing, they didn't know what Trigon was. But I mean, don't you have to see? They're just like, oh well, there's something out there because basically Trigon just like blasts everyone away out of like a pentagram. It's like, yeah, that can't be it.
Maybe it's so we can have a little bit of a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah. But yeah, just Robin telling Batman, and then the Justice League is like, yeah, we were trying to stop Trigon, but you big shots blew it. So I was like, has Dick been waiting to get something off his chest for a while?
I mean, I do think a little. I remember reading, or actually, I think it's in the foreword to this here, that they were trying to set up kind of like parallel things that. The same kind of triangle was created for the guys. Robin was level-headed and capable leader who was kept on a leash, tight leash by Batman, often felt inadequate for the task at hand. He also had a need to prove himself to Batman. Then Changeling believed he had little to offer anyone and covered it up with outward bravado. Cyborg was a logical scientist type who rejected the approach to become an angry young man. Nightwing's logical approach to life and anger toward his parent was shared by Cyborg, while his feelings of inadequacy were shared by Changeling. Cyborg and Changeling had also been physically altered by their parents, and that helped bring them together. Yeah, so yeah, they wanted him to have some conflict with Batman, but they wanted it to be the sort of like, I'm trying to grow up conflict with Batman, not you fired me.
Oh yeah.
Batman, my favorite character.
Right. Because, Batman's like, all right, you kids better have explanations. And Robin's like, okay, first of all, we're not kids.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of get your point. Yeah, at the end, they're like, what's Trigon? You've been lying to us the whole time. But again, yeah, like I love that. I always love George Perez art. It's always really good. But that's another thing. I've talked about this with other people too, and it's just like when you're on the DC app, and it's like with some of these series, you finish 4, it's supposed to go to issue 5, but instead it goes to like a collection volume 5, and it's just like,
oh yeah, I was noticing that they kept being like ultra tier only. I'm like, what are you talking about? So yeah, then I had to go. Yeah.
So is that just a mistake? Pointing towards the ultra? It's just okay.
Who knows?
I don't know. All right, you ready for the next one?
Most definitely. Well, wait, I guess I also want to say it's also fascinating. I mean, I guess this stuff is, oh my gosh, this stuff's 40 some years old now. But it is, It's also interesting how the colors have changed.
Yeah.
Because how Batman's a lot more in the blue and that kind of thing. It's just such a different color palette, even in the 80s.
Because it was
It's like, I mean, the 80s, this is 40 years after, they started, and basically it's the same color palette as they had in the beginning.
Yeah, because they were probably still probably doing it by hand. I think it was at least till the 90s. I think they started doing it by, some of it, at least some of the coloring and stuff digitally. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
All right. All right. So New Teen Titans number. I'm gonna bring up number 5. All right. New Teen Titans number 5 from March 1981. Trigon Lives. Almost the same team, except this time we have Phil and Penciler Kurt Swan, who did a ton of pre-crisis Superman. Raven tries to call back the Titans after they believe that they have been led astray by her. She is then shown having a conversation with her father, Trigon, and declares him her enemy. With a few lightning bolts, Trigon sends down his advanced warrior, Goron. With Raven overpowered, she sends her soul self to get help from the Titans again. This time, Robin, Coriander, Changeling, and Wonder Girl agree to help. Cyborg stays behind to talk with Kid Flash, who feels betrayed by Raven after a brief lecture, Kid Flash and Cyborg join the battle. They first attack Goron separately, then realize that they must work together and eventually take down Goron. While watching in cloud form, Trigon is displeased and warps the Titans back to Titan's Tower, while he tells Raven he's going to invade this world. Raven escapes, and Simon comes to Trigon's side, but is spread across the time stream for having attempted to kill Trigon. As for Goron, his failure is met with death as Trigon incinerates him. The Teen Titans attempt to defeat Trigon as he flies around New York wreaking havoc. However, they are easily defeated. During this time, Raven has been going back and forth from New York and the Temple of Azarath to ask for the monks' help, but they decide not to get involved. As they decide this, Trigon sees his way to enter the temple. Raven summons the Titans to the temple to battle him, but they are again defeated by Trigon. To stop Trigon's advancement on the world, Raven offers to serve by her father's side in his dimension. Raven and Trigon disappear in a cloud of smoke, and the rest of the Titans are left standing over where they once stood. Kid Flash cries as he never got to tell Raven he loved her. So he's like, even though she kind of manipulated he's like, I still have, even though I know the truth, I still have feelings.
Aww.
Which is so weird because it's like,
yeah, that was definitely a kind of a weird part of New Teen Titans for sure.
I mean, now you think of her as much younger and with Beast Boy, so it's just so weird. Oh, this is one of the few issues of the original New Teen Titans run not penciled by George Perez. So there wasn't many fill-ins by different artists, so this is one of them.
But there's got to be a fill-in every once in a while, I imagine, because there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He's a machine,
Yeah. The one thing I kind of forgot is the guy who's watching them, or is he in the tower? No, it says the shed. Yeah, the guy who gave them the tower. I'm trying to remember. Is that Vic's dad?
I was trying to remember. I'm not sure. Trying to see if it was in the notes, but oh yes. In this issue, the architect of Titan's Tower has not yet been revealed. He will be identified as Cyborg's father, Silas Stone, in issue 7. Yeah, you're right. Yep. So a few issues from now, or no, after the next one.
Yeah, the very next one.
And that's also when Simon reappears. Oh, and it's not explained how the Titans got home from Azarath at the beginning without Raven's dimension warping powers.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They're like, oh, maybe they hitched the ride with the Justice League.
Yes. Well, yeah, there's been a lot of. It's kind of a little confusing where exactly Azarath is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's. I mean, this is before they had. I mean, they sort of had the multiverse already developed because I know they had Earth 1 and 2, but mostly they just had just those two. So it's, I mean, but I guess another dimension is kind of like another Earth, or is it like somewhere in between?
I mean,
More
yeah.
like a Phantom Zone kind of thing?
I mean, there are places. It doesn't have to be like an Earth, another Earth. Yeah, it's.
Okay, now we get down.
Mm.
But yeah.
And it's also weird. Like the Titans are just learning how to work as a team.
Well, I mean, it's still only the 5th issue.
I know,
So.
but I just mean from what I'm used to. Yeah, it's so weird to see them just.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the other thing that reminds you of back in the day is they did a lot per issue. I mean, so yeah, this is only the 5th issue, but they've already gotten the team together. Then in the 2nd issue, they already had the battle with Slade, where Grant Wilson died. And then in the 3rd issue, they already battled the Fearsome Five, and now we're at the 4th issue, starting with Trigon. I mean, wow.
Oh yeah, they didn't sit around.
They didn't mess around. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they weren't waiting for no trade paperbacks. Yeah, no, they were full speed ahead.
Right. Exactly. Because yeah, like, I mean, I feel like in modern, I mean, maybe now that the Teen Titans is an established brand, they get together in one issue because it's kind of, but then, I mean, the stuff with Deathstroke, man, they probably milked that for like 6 months.
I know.
And then this Trigon, that could probably be at least a year.
Exactly. Oh yeah, at least. And again, just to remind you, like how old this story is and stuff. It's when Cyborg's telling Beast Boy, he's like, "Oh, before I met you guys, I wasn't I wasn't used to all this cosmic stuff. I wasn't a big shot superhero like the rest of you." It's like, oh yeah,
Well, he was just invented.
yeah, yep.
Because Cyborg, Raven, and Starfire are the 3 that
Mm-hmm.
Wolfman and Perez invented just for this, right?
Yep. I love Dick telling Corey, I gotta get some sort of vehicle. You're always carrying me. She goes, why? I love having you near me, Dick.
I know, yeah, that one's crazy. Or not crazy, it's funny. It is funny because they're not together yet. That kind of takes a while. I mean, she's kind of interested in right from the start since she kisses him to get his language, but
and Kurt Swan's art isn't bad, but yeah, you can just it's so weird just seeing him kind of like next to George Perez.
But I was gonna say I also like Corey carrying him because it emphasizes also how strong she is. Because that is not, it's clearly not hard for her. She just like bloop.
And not just carrying and flying with him, yeah.
Yeah, just picking him up like he's a little baby. So I like that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing about this team. Probably the two strongest members are Dawn and Corey. Yeah. I don't know.
That is also great how Corey's so open. You know, like a lot of people would say, "Oh, don't worry about it. I don't mind." But she's like, "I love having you near me."
Well, I think in one of these, don't they even like point out again? It's like, oh yeah, the Tamarinians, are basically driven and follow their emotions more than anything.
Yeah, she says that in the next issue, I think. But it's nice to see it shown and not just told as well.
Mm-hmm. And good for Raven's mother for standing up to Trigon. So this time, when she goes off with Trigon now, and the Titans are like, we gotta go save her.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, it's definitely very annoying with I think it makes a good commentary on pacifism, on the attitude that the monks at Azarath have, which is, I mean, I understand peace, and in an ideal world, it would be great if we never had to beat each other up, kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely understand why this is a problematic attitude to have. That's like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, they're like, yeah, Azarath will be saved, and that's cool. And Robin's like, so you'll live and everyone else will die? And they're like, yeah.
Doesn't seem very monk-like.
Well, I mean, the pacifism, the whole...
Yeah,
and that... I mean, I guess the thing is, it would seem more acceptable if they were like, they're coming to attack us, and we don't believe in fighting, so we're not going to fight back.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's like, they're coming to attack somebody else, and like, we don't believe in fighting, so screw those people. I mean, that's kind of what's happening.
I know.
I feel like it's also a good, how Robin's like, don't they understand? Peace doesn't just happen. You have to work to maintain it, struggle to preserve it, is good. And also definitely not what they were going with in the 80s, but it really reminded me of when you read stuff like Ibram X. Kendi's book and stuff, how they talk about how it's not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. And that, I was like, oh, that's basically what's happening here, that these people are but that's like those people at Azarath, they're not racist. They're like, well, we won't do anything racist. But then when it's like, oh, but we need your help to stop racism, they're like, sorry, that's not how we roll.
Yeah.
So it's like, guys, it's not enough just to be not. It's not enough to be not Trigon. You have to be anti-Trigon. Because it really is. I appreciate peace. I get it, but that's a really douche move to not help other people.
And as if you didn't know he was evil, it's Trigon the Terrible.
That's right. I mean, of course you can tell he's evil. He's all red, and he has horns and 6 eyes, obviously.
But it's so weird. They're not devil horns. They almost look like reindeer horns or something.
Well, I mean, the devil horns are animal horns, so...
Yeah. But again, I'm used to like the little pointy ones, not the,
Yeah, more like the goat ones or something. Well, you can't just...
That's a 6-point demon right there.
You can't just totally rip off Satan when you're making your own demon. Come on, guys. Don't just copy somebody else's homework. Put your own spin on it.
And they did. All right. Ready for this last one?
Yup.
All right. New Teen Titans number 6 from April 1981. Marv's back. George Perez is back. Inker Pablo Marcos. Adrian Roy still here. Letterer John Costanza. He's everywhere in the 80s and 90s. Editor Len Wein. Trigon is shown appearing with Raven to his world. The people are forced to hail the king. A little girl calls him a monster and he makes her suffer. Raven absorbs the pain, but it's futile because he incinerates the girl moments after Raven saves her. Trigon then returns to his castle where they use the cosmic cannon to destroy the planet Xynthia that refuses to bow to Trigon, after which he wonders if Earth will be destroyed this easily. While back in Temple Azarath, Ariella tells the story of her life as the Teen Titans urge the monks to at least get them to Trigon's world, which they show them where they show them the way. Ariella leads on as the guide and takes them to Trigon's world. Upon arrival, Kid Flash starts to do a reconnaissance and immediately runs into Trigon and finds the Titans knocked unconscious. Ariella frees Raven during the brief battle and flees with her. Trigon turns his world ablaze until the pain of the people is unbearable, and Ariella and Raven give themselves up, and in an instant, Trigon appears. Ariella creates a diversion while Raven seeks out the Teen Titans. They are freed from one of Trigon's dungeons and quickly devise a plan that will prevent Trigon from entering Earth's dimension. With every member in unison, the Teen Titans weaken Trigon. The final blow coming as Cyborg connects the Corey and gives him a high-powered bolt that sends him into the Netherverse, which was opened up by Kid Flash. The last act is when Ariella jumps into the portal and sacrifices herself to be the guardian of the gate to be forever at war with Trigon. All right. Thoughts?
Yeah, again, very detailed. A lot happens in here. There are like so many pages. I think one thing that kind of surprised me, because it's been a while since I read this, was it kind of surprised me when they show up in Trigon's world and there are people there and stuff. Since he's a demon, I guess I always kind of pictured him as living in like a more like a hell kind of place, where it's like him and his little demon buddies doing demon things.
Yeah, I mean, again, I guess it's like a dimension where most of the people are normal, but I mean, in the origin, I mean, wasn't Trigon like the son of the actual devil of this dimension?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, I mean, there was normal people, but just Trigon's just.
Yeah, I mean, it almost different because obviously he's bad, but it reminded me a little bit of, which granted I have not read these comics, I only saw the movies, but like in Thor Ragnarok, when there were regular people living in Asgard, I was like, oh, for real? Like, I thought it was just the gods. I didn't know there were regular people.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, there are some regular people. Yeah, I mean, they might live. All those Asgardians might live longer than normal humans, but yeah.
Yeah, but like they weren't gods. I guess I thought it was pretty much. I guess that's kind of how I pictured, which maybe I'm wrong there, but I always pictured stuff in Greek myth as like the gods live on their own. Like they're hanging out at Olympus and there's no regular people. Like it's just them doing their thing. So that's why I was like, oh. I didn't realize. And I mean, I do understand. It does make a bit of sense also, as it's a good way to show just how bad Trigon is, instead of him just living in a demon world, that he lives in some world where he's, an oppressor and just vaporizes kids for the fun of it.
I know.
It does emphasize that he's evil.
Well, that is a downer of the beginning. I mean, one, it looks like he's going to kill that little girl, and Raven's like, oh, I saved her, and Trigon's like, nope. And then, like vaporizes her and then blows up that other planet.
Yeah, you're like, wow, you're a bad dude.
Mm-hmm. And then his
guy. It's like Darth Vader levels of bad.
Oh yeah, and then even his henchmen bringing him that woman. They're like, oh, will she do? And he's like, ah, yes, a comely wench. Yes. So yeah, the Titans were all panicked, telling the monks, you gotta get, we gotta get the Raven. And oh, see, Corey even tells them to be totally passive does not create peace. It is the breeding ground for subjugation.
Yes, yeah. Oh, this cracked me up. I couldn't see this when I was reading on my phone, but when she's telling her story and she's in the bookstore or the library, I just see it says witchcraft, and right underneath is Satanism.
Yeah. Yeah, because her mother, basically was just an orphan, and then it basically just got into the occult for the hell of it, and just it's basically part of this ritual, and then she meets Thought that I'm like, there's nothing fishy when a guy just appears out of thin air.
Yep.
But yeah, that's when she found out. Yes, she slept with the devil, or something incredibly like the devil. But yeah, she basically went back to Earth and had nothing. She was pregnant and homeless, and that's when the monks took her in.
And they go out into the cosmic staircase.
Oh yeah. I love how it looks like space, but meanwhile there's like a breeze because you see Robin's cape flapping in the breeze.
Yep. Aurella's is too.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be atmospheric, baby.
Well, I guess if they can breathe and they can talk, yeah, there would have to be some kind of atmosphere. Of course, they get there, and Wally's still like, "Oh, I gotta let her know how I feel about Raven, how I feel about her."
Also, I enjoy when that weird dog comes up. He's like, "Holy Hannah, what?" Also, I've noticed they kind of go back and forth whether when Robin's in his mask, you can see his eyes or not.
Yeah.
Some of them, yes. Sometimes, no.
Yeah, there were times they would do that with Batman too, but yeah. I think here the closer you get to Dick's face, the more you can see his eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they like think they're gonna fight Trigon. He just like knocks them out.
Yep. Raven unlocking her friends and giving Dick a magic key.
Yes. Then Garth turning into a dinosaur to take on the giant dog.
I also do love. I do feel like there's a little bit. Not that I want to be one of those old people that's like, oh, we're becoming increasingly illiterate because whatever. But I do like. I like how Trigon's here is, I will not permit such effrontery. I mean, I can't imagine somebody saying that now in comics.
I know. I miss.
But I like it.
I like it too. Yeah, I love when the villains use the lingo like that. And then just the Titans combining their powers to like open the portal and blast Trigon through it. But then, of course, someone has to stay on the other side to keep it closed. So Raven's mother dives through.
I guess it kind of makes sense since she can't go back to Azarath.
No. Because that's kind of how it ends with Raven saying, "She who believed in peace must now be forever at war." So it's kind of like, yeah, in case Trigon gets free, because we'll never see Trigon again.
Well, we don't for a while though, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's a while.
I think it's not until we get to the second version of New Teen Titans.
Maybe, yeah.
Because that's where we have that, like, the Terror of Trigon, where it's somehow Raven's been. I think it's not until after. Yeah, it's not until after Dick becomes Nightwing. That I think. I mean, that's the big one because I remember reading that. Again, I think it's in the intro in one of the omnibuses that because it was kind of gradual and they didn't notice, but George noticed that he was drawing Raven differently, that kind of her face shape had changed and it was getting pointier and stuff. And then he and Marv were like, whoa, what if we do something with that? And I think that was kind of partially how. So, yeah, so it was like kind of a little bit of an accident, I think, that his style was changing.
Oh, nice.
But then they were like, oh, let's make this meaningful, which I think is really cool.
I do. I like it.
And so then Because when Trigon comes back, it's like he somehow is coming back through Raven, which is the other one. Yeah. Yeah, I just went to the next one, and they got some pretty funny Corey comments in there. Some guy saying to Corey, "Hey, you are one fine-looking mama," and she says, "Thank you, and you are a fine-looking mother yourself."
Funny, yes, I am the mother.
That's funny. Oh yeah, we get a diagram of Titan's Tower.
Oh,
very nice. Oh yeah, this was something that, because I'm kind of used to. It was weird seeing Gizmo with like a beard and stuff.
I know.
Because so often nowadays he's like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what?
Yeah, it's so weird that like there's the two series, New Teen Titans kind of becomes, what is it? The Tales of the
So yeah, it becomes Tales of the Teen Titans,
Yeah.
and then it goes back to New Teen Titans. And I think it had something to do, with this is that period of transition where they're going from selling comics kind of wherever to the more comic book store model.
Oh yeah, because
for a while, Tales of the Teen Titans was published, and New Teen Titans only went to comic books. And an issue of because I have a couple times before these omnibuses came out, when I was collecting, sometimes if it was cheaper to buy, I'd buy the Tales of the Teen Titan version. It has a different, so I forget exactly. I'd have to go look, but it's it's probably around 50 or something. It's like, well, no, 50 I think is when Donna gets married. So somewhere in there. But if it's like 55 or whatever is when they started, then like 56 of Tales of the Teen Titans is the same as New Teen Titans #1.
Yeah.
And they continued like that for a while because they were at different stores, and then they stopped.
Yeah, for a while they were just like there were certain titles, they only sold at the comic shops, the direct market,
And yes, correct. It is revealed that Vic Stone's dad is the one who did the tower.
I forget why did they say why he did that? Was that because he wanted his son to be with the Titans, or? Yeah, I read some of these old ones, but it's been a while.
Yeah, he says he's like trying to give him a place to. Yeah, because we also kind of get Cyborg's origin in that one. Yeah, that was a long one.
All right. Anything else on these?
No, that's good. I'm always impressed with older comics, how much they put into. I mean, that was 3 issues, that whole Trigon saga. Like I said, that would be at least a year nowadays.
Oh yeah. Especially word count. Yeah. Heck, the origin of Trigon would be at least an issue or 2 by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and the origin of Raven with Arella, that's an issue.
Yep.
Or maybe, if they were feeling generous to us, the origin of Trigon and Arella would be in 1 issue.
Maybe.
But it would probably be a special one-shot that you would have to buy extra.
Yes.
Or like an annual. Kind of like how the Nightwing annual is going to be about B as the pirate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, which is cool, but also it's like, just getting our money, Phil.
All right. So, all right. If there's nothing.
Oh, yeah. Also, real quick, I want to say when you mentioned that George, Marv, and Romeo was the one who did the inking for number 4.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the new Teen Titans Trinity, I think. Those are the.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Those are all the big cheeses, as it were.
Oh, yeah. They did so many of those. Yeah. That's like, when people think of that era and stuff, yeah, that's who they see. All right, kids. All right. So, the next 3, we'll be back in around the month because next 3 weeks. Well, there's 5. There'll be 5 weeks next week or next month. So yes, next 3 weeks we'll get your electric mullet fix, and then when we come back, the first episode we'll wrap, like we said, we'll wrap up that Beast Wars stuff or Beast World stuff with and some newer stuff that's not Beast World. Beast World 5 and 6, Nightwing 111, and Titans number 8. And then in a month for the older stuff, Batman will be back because we'll do New Teen Titans 37 and The Outsiders number 5. Kind of like another crossover. Because I don't know if you remember when we read Batman. Was it 416? And Dick was like, "Oh yeah, remember when we the Titans teamed up with the Outsiders?" I think that's what it is. That's the one they're talking about. So.
Yeah, although that would have happened before.
Yeah.
It would have been like a reference. Self-referential. Boom.
All right. So, yes. So, send us your thoughts on all the old stuff, the new stuff. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise, the Patreon. Find it all at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. And then, as you're listening to the podcast, go on Amazon, pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. Again, you may have read every comic in existence, but you don't know the full story of Dick Grayson. Pick up this book. And again, help support an educator. And as this young lady said, people need to read more.
We will not accept such effrontery.
I love the old, like I said, I love that language, like miscreants.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It is.
Also, when they refer to bad guys, which is not as old. Well, I don't know whether like skills.
Guarantee that showed up in a Batman somewhere. Skills.
Yeah.
All right, kids, come back. Again.
Come back, your skills.
Skills. That's right. Again, 3 weeks of Electric Mullet, and then we'll be back for the new stuff, and then New Teen Titans 37 and Batman and the Outsiders number 5. So we'll jump ahead a little for Batman said, "I quit your leave." I'm even trying to think up all the cool words that comic books have introduced me to. Miscreants. All right, kids. We'll come back next time. Think up of your own words. But until then, join us same wing time.
Same wing channel.
The Nightwing News.